Hi there, and welcome to this year's options evening. My name is Mr. Crowther, and I am a food teacher at Burnage Academy for Boys. Now, the aim of this video is to give you an introduction to the GCSE Food and Nutrition course. Hopefully by the end of the video, I will have answered any questions you may have about the course content and what is expected of your son should he take it. So let's have a look together. So on the left-hand side, we can see the areas of study. So 6 areas in particular have been highlighted as key topics throughout the course. So I'll give you a brief overview of what they are. Number 1, food commodities. Now, commodities just refers to the ingredients which you can see on the right-hand side, and we use all of these ingredients throughout the 2-year course, both in cooking and scientific investigations. So lots of variety and lots of different ingredients used. We do study the principles of nutrition with these ingredients, so we have a look at the chemistry and the biology in relation to the human body. We also look at how nutritional needs change throughout the life, from children all the way through to adults, and how to plan specific diets to suit different people. We also look at international foods and foods from around the world and how to cater for different demographics. So this is quite interesting. Again, there's quite an emphasis on science with this course. We do quite a lot of scientific investigations where your son will be expected to research, plan, conduct experiments, and summarize information. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, number 5, where food comes from. So we learn about the food chain and the origins of food. We look at how food can be more sustainable, looking into the future, and the impact of food production on the environment. We also look at food business, the food tech industry, and the future going ahead. Now, number 6, I think boys enjoy the most. End of the day, you choose food, you want to cook, and that's what we do quite a lot of. So every week we do some cooking, and I'll talk about that in a bit more detail now. So this is how the course is assessed. The course is 50% exam and 50% coursework. So the exam in blue, you can see, is 1 hour 45 minutes and is split up into 2 sections. Feel free to pause this video at any time should you wish to read it in more detail. Now, the coursework I'm going to talk a little bit more about. Coursework is started in year 11 and completed in year 11. So it started in September and finished in the summer of year 11. 2 tasks. One task is worth 15%, which we can see here, and another task is worth 35%. So let's have a look at the first task. So the first task takes on average 8 to 10 hours. At the end of the task, your son will have produced a report of 1,500 to 2,000 words. And this coursework is primarily based on science and science experiments with food. So it's not necessarily about cooking and presenting food. It's about investigating, the chemistry and also biology of food, human body. So let's have a look. Your son will need to analyze, research, investigate, be able to make predictions, organize and plan for himself, to show independent skills, be able to carry out experiments, and most importantly, be able to summarize and present this information using critical judgment. So a lot of skills required, most importantly, a lot of skills developed. So please feel free to pause the video to have a look at these concepts in a bit more detail and discuss it, with your son. Now, we'll have a look at the second piece of coursework now. Feel free to ask me any questions, by the way, on Parents' Evening regarding any of this info. Or you can also contact me via my email. You can see the email on the website with any questions regarding coursework. So task 2, this is worth 35% of the overall GCSE mark and takes roughly around 12 to 14 hours. This is primarily focused on cooking. So this is where your son is asked to showcase his cookery skills and everything that he has learned thus far. So let's have a look. It's split up into 3 sections. So everything you see in this table here is section A, and it's worth 15 marks. So before we actually begin cooking, your son will be expected again to analyze and research and investigate recipes and dishes from around the world, for example. So lots of different ideas and skills and processes involved in this part of the coursework. 45 marks is attributed to cooking. So if you have enjoyed your cooking lessons thus far, okay, from year 7 to year 9, you'll be glad to hear that a large chunk of this coursework is cooking. So being assessed on your organisation skills, your planning skills, your cooking skills, and your presenting skills. So 45 marks is quite a large chunk. Something to consider going forward. And section C, which is worth 10 marks, is being able to summarise everything that you've done and analyse and come to conclusions based on evidence. So again, it is academic. It's not just cooking, this GCSE. Okay, these courseworks are not just cooking, unfortunately. You do have to do a lot of writing, but it's something to consider because cooking is still a very large part of it. So let's have a look at the skills that you will develop. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of them now with you. I will just suggest that you maybe pause the video and have a look for yourself. You can see lots of different processes, skills and techniques. We do a lot of cooking, put it that way. But just how much cooking do we do? Well, this is what the average week looks like for a year 10 and year 11. So we have 3 lessons in a week, and each lesson is quite different. One lesson is based in the IT room, where we will use computers for researching, evaluating, writing work up, but also for discussion and for more engaging activities using the internet and online platforms. So this is quite a good option for boys that like to use computers. Another lesson will be in the classroom as normal, learning about the course content, the curriculum, as we discussed earlier, and being able to have discussions and working in this environment. We'll also do demonstration lessons. As you can see here, this is not me. Okay, this is a representation of me taken from the internet. This is what the class will look like. So me doing a demonstration and the boys taking in as much information as they can. So sometimes we do have practical theory too. Now the good news is every single week we have a practical lesson. So we get to do some cooking 1 out of every 3 lessons, okay, where we focus on skills and developing skills. Now, here are some frequently asked questions that I often get asked, whether on Parents' Evening or on Questions Evening like this. So I thought we will do it together, just in case you have these questions yourself. Now, question number 1, how much cooking will we do? As discussed, 1 out of every 3 lessons is a practical, so very often indeed. Do I have to be a good cook beforehand? No, you don't have to be an expert cook. I do suggest practicing at home, and hopefully you've had some experience in school if you've been at Burnage with me, which is always good. Ideally, I'm looking for someone who's been making satisfactory progress in food tech, because obviously if you've not got the effort, you've not got the energy to take part, you don't want to do it, then it might not be for you. If you are thinking about changing your mind and you do want to start looking at food as an option, then obviously your engagement and your attitude will need to change if it's below satisfactory. But that's something that can happen with time. Do I need to be academic? I don't like writing. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of writing. You don't have to be academic, no, and obviously you get a lot of support, okay, with anything you're struggling with, but you will be expected to research, plan, analyse, evaluate, discuss, and use critical thinking skills. So yes, it's not just practical cooking, unfortunately. Is it expensive to take? No. Don't worry about that at all. The school has got you covered. The school pays for everything, okay, all the resources, all the ingredients and equipment. So you don't need to bring anything in if you don't want to. Can I choose what I want to make? Yes and no. Okay. Yes, there are opportunities to express yourself creatively throughout the year. You can choose recipes and adapt them. for your own liking. But in general, okay, I will give you a recipe based on what we are learning, and that is what we stick to. But the bottom line is you do get to make what you want every so often. When will I do the coursework? Unfortunately, for this course, all the work is done in year 11. So all the coursework is done in year 11. We do practice in year 10, okay, to get some hints and some tips on how to improve coursework. But most of it is done in year 11. So you must be willing to work hard and be able to work independently. But if you've got effort and you're interested in the subject, you'll be fine. Resources available. So these are the resources that we tend to use. The school have paid quite a bit of money for an online textbook. Okay, so the boys have got a login for this textbook on the internet with online activities, games, videos, quizzes, okay, and lots of engaging content. So this is our primary learning resource outside of practical lessons. Seneca Learning is another great online platform, making revision and learning much easier. And then we've also got textbooks too, which we use in the classroom for theory lessons. So a combination of all of these different avenues is what we tend to use. So I hope that answers that question for you. Now, the big question, what careers are linked to food? Now, this week, your son has hopefully been taking part in a careers lesson remotely online with me. And so he will have a better understanding of what it is to be considering food as a career. So you don't just have to be a chef or work in a restaurant. There's lots of other job opportunities as well. So here we have a breakdown of future employment opportunities if your son was to choose this subject. So 2 groups, careers that feed our nation and feed our country. So you can see there's a range of different type of jobs that are categorized in this area. So agriculture, aquaculture, okay, nutritional scientists, sports scientists, new product development, okay, technology, food technology and food engineering, events management and hospitality and catering are some of the most popular, I would say. So feel free to, obviously in your own time, research what these jobs entail. And I'm going to show you a website in a minute that will help you do that. Advising, educating and communicating are other types of jobs that this sector provide. So working in a hospital alongside doctors and nursing staff as a dietitian or a nutritionist, you can work in the public sector, the health sector, and the private sector as well, and lots of job opportunities with regards to that. Research scientists, okay, resource production, so in investigating how food is produced and being able to educate that. But most importantly, a lot of our boys do ask this question, creative jobs. So outside of making food, what are more creative jobs? Well, food styling, okay, food photography, being an author if you like writing, or journalism, okay, you can work for a magazine or work for a particular outlet, writing about food, food marketing, food designing, so if you like designing and creating. Okay, and yes, there's so many different jobs related to food. You don't just have to be a chef or a cook, although those are very well paid jobs if you do decide to take that route. So here's the website that I recommend you guys have a look at. This will give you lots more information of the different types of careers that your son can follow if he's interested in food at all. And there's so many to choose from, so many that you wouldn't have even thought relate to food. So I do suggest you have a look at this when you can to gain some inspiration. And so in summary, why would I say this is suitable for you? Or why is this suitable for you? Well, think, do you like practical work? Have you enjoyed your food lessons so far? Is this something that you would consider or you would like to continue doing? It is the perfect mix between academic and practical work. And it will also help you with your science and even your PE GCSE if you take PE. The reason for this is the course content is very similar in some areas. So there's quite a bit of crossover. Like I say, we learn about biology, chemistry, and some physics in food and how it all relates together. in cooking and food science. So a lot of what we learn will help you with your science GCSEs. So it's a good double up. And as we've discussed, lots of career opportunities and also obviously opportunities for higher learning at college with food tech. So something to think about. And I hope you've learned something today with me. Please ask me any questions on Parents' Evening, or feel free to send me an email if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. So thank you for listening to the video, and I hope I speak to you soon. Have a great evening. Bye for now.